The member for Fremantle has the call.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. One of the many privileges and joys of being representative is the opportunity to visit schools in one's community. Education is the great driver and guarantor of opportunity and equality in Australia, and of course that's what our schools exist to deliver. But schools are much more than that. They are community hubs. They are places where social capital is built and reinforced in the bonds between teachers and students, between families and through links into the wider community. In the last month or so, I visited a number of schools across the seat of Fremantle to hear from principals, teachers, support staff and, most importantly, to engage with students. I had a lovely time meeting the Year 6 class at Janicot Primary, which not long ago visited Parliament House as part of their studies in democracy and government. They'd produced some colourful and detailed charts about the legislative process, and to be honest, I wish I'd taken some copies because they were excellent and would have been very helpful to me as a new member. I know from my own experience that education involves an entire community. At Jandakot, that starts with Principal Ian Hastings, and I want to acknowledge his energy and leadership. I also acknowledge the School Board Chair, Brad McAuliffe, and the P&C President, Hayley King, who have both been actively engaged in improving the school's built environment and character, drawing on the Jandakot area's aeronautical heritage. Further to the west, South Fremantle Senior High School and Hamilton Senior High have begun the transition to the new Fremantle College, which will open its doors next year. I was glad to visit the site the other day to see the new building works, and I thank Foundation Principal Miles Draper and his team for their passion and practical commitment to revitalising and expanding the learning and innovation spaces. They are leading a transformation that my community has looked forward to for some time. Madam Deputy Speaker, at Southwell Primary in Hamilton Hill, I witnessed a lovely example of a small but close-knit school that works together to achieve the best possible outcomes for its students. Diversity is the foundation principle at Southwell, with 50% of students coming from an Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander background and another 25% of the kids coming from migrant families. All children are taught to speak Noongar, and there is a strong focus on Indigenous culture and history. I congratulate Principal Elizabeth Melville and all the teachers, education assistants and other staff for their work. Madam Deputy Speaker, in my first year as a representative, I've visited more than 25 local schools, and each of them I find teachers and students and community leaders dedicated to the great cause of education. But I have to reflect on those school visits with mixed feelings, because I know that that network of school communities could be better enabled if it had resources to respond on the basis of need, resources that meant more teachers and more help for students who otherwise struggle to achieve their potential. Unfortunately, we have a government that's walked away from needs-based schools funding. That means WA schools will receive hundreds of millions of dollars less than was listed in the last Barnett budget.
I thank the member for Fremantle.